If you're planning a cruise in 2026, you may want to stop and listen, because some cruisers are already being surprised by hundreds of dollars in new charges they didn't expect. These aren't upgrades, and they're not optional. They often show up after you've booked, sometimes even after you've boarded. Cruise lines are quietly changing how things work, not with flashy announcements, but in ways that affect what you actually pay. In this video, I'm breaking down the biggest costs and changes affecting cruises in 2026. Let's start with the biggest one: hidden cruise taxes. If you're booking a cruise for 2026, there's a cost that's easy to miss, and it can quietly add hundreds of dollars to your final bill. We're talking about rising tourist taxes and new environmental fees that many cruisers don't fully see when they book, but will absolutely feel when they pay. That cost is already hitting Hawaii cruises first. Beginning January 1st, 2026, Hawaii will introduce a brand new cruise passenger tax. This isn't some small port fee. It can total up to about 14%. Made up of the state's transient accommodations tax plus possible county surcharges, applied to the portion of your fare for the days your ship is docked in Hawaiian ports. Cruise lines like Norwegian and Disney have already started warning guests about increased cost, which could range anywhere from $50 to $500 per person depending on the itinerary. One cruiser even reported that this new tax added over $600 to their 7-day Hawaii cruise for 2 people. And for many, that's a complete deal breaker. Now, this new tax is supposed to fund environmental and tourism programs, but it's so significant that the cruise industry, through CLIA, the Cruise Lines International Association, has filed a federal lawsuit arguing that it violates maritime law. We don't know how that'll play out yet, but if you're planning a Hawaii cruise, definitely factor this cost into your budget. And Hawaii isn't alone. Around the world, tourist taxes are creeping up. In Mexico, a new non-resident tourism tax introduced in 2025 is increasing again in 2026, from $5 to $10 per person depending on the port. And be aware, it's not always included in your fare. Several cruisers have confirmed seeing it added later as a separate line item on their onboard account after a port stop. In Greece, the cruise visitor tax continues, charged per person per port, and it varies by season, roughly $22 in the summer and about $4 to $5 in the winter at major ports. In Amsterdam, the day tourist tax is about $15 per person. And even the U.S. Virgin Islands is raising its port fee by roughly $3 per passenger. Individually, these might not seem like much, but when you add them all up, these hidden costs are quietly reshaping what it really means to take an affordable cruise vacation. And while those taxes are the ones you'll actually see listed on your bill, there's another set of changes that are quietly adding to cruise costs once you're on board. The nickel and dime effect. Now let's get into something that's a little less rewarding and will actually cost cruise passengers more. New cruise fees and extra charges are creeping in for 2026. And one of the changes that has cruisers truly furious happened recently with Carnival Cruise Line. The line has raised its gratuity on drinks and drink packages to 20%. It used to be 18%. That 2% jump sounds small, but it's a tipping trap. It applies to every soda, every beer, and every specialty coffee. For a family on a 7-day cruise, that extra percentage on every single swipe adds up to serious money. And what's making passengers angry is that nothing about the service changed, only the cost of ordering a drink did. And this is exactly how many cruise lines are increasing onboard spending now. Not with one big price hike, but with dozens of small ones. One of the most talked about changes comes from Norwegian Cruise Line, which is now charging a $5 fee for an additional entree in the main dining room. Norwegian says this policy is designed to reduce food waste, but many passengers view it as another example of nickel and diming. To be fair, Norwegian isn't the first to introduce this kind of charge. MSC Cruises has a similar policy, and Carnival applies a $5 fee only when a third entree is ordered. Guests can still order as many appetizers, soups, salads, and desserts as they wish, and of course, there's always the buffet. The issue arises when the first entree is unsatisfactory. Some passengers have reported being told they must still pay the $5 fee for a replacement. That represents a service failure, and for many, it's less about the cost and more about the loss of something that was always included in the cruise fare. Attention is also turning to Norwegian's private island, Great Stirrup Cay. While upgrades are coming, a major negative change begins March 1st, 2026. Guests with the free at sea onboard beverage package will no longer be able to use it on the island. Instead, a separate drink package will need to be purchased, available for booking starting January 1st, 2026. Basic non-alcoholic beverages like water, iced tea, juices, and lemonade will still be complimentary. But for alcoholic and specialty drinks on shore, you'll either need to buy the new island-specific package or pay per drink. This change has left many cruisers feeling double-charged, since the package they paid for on the ship becomes useless the moment they step onto the cruise line's own island. Room service policies are also evolving. Most major cruise lines still include a complimentary continental breakfast, though luxury lines often extend full-day service. Norwegian, however, adds a delivery fee, about $4.95 for breakfast and up to $12.99 later in the day. And some passengers have even reported being charged again when replacements were requested for cold meals. Recent sailings have introduced limits on how much can be ordered per delivery. 1 hot dish and 1 cold dish per person for breakfast, and 2 hot dishes per person for the rest of the day, all under the same delivery fee. While minor, these restrictions represent another cutback in service. Service reductions are also being linked to sustainability initiatives. Passengers have noted cabins without top sheets, only a duvet and fitted sheet, and were told this was part of a new policy. These small adjustments contribute to a less premium onboard experience. Finally, Royal Caribbean is increasing childcare fees at its Adventure Ocean program. The late-night session, running 10 p.m. to 1 a.m., will rise from $10 to $15 per hour per child. Back in 2005, the same service was $6 an hour, so while inflation accounts for part of the increase, families with multiple children using the program nightly will feel the impact. The all-inclusive illusion. Now, let's talk about a trend that's chipping away at the very idea of an all-inclusive cruise vacation. If you're a fan of Virgin Voyages or Princess Cruises, you'll want to pay close attention to these fundamental changes. First, Virgin Voyages, the line that truly shook up the industry with its one price includes almost everything model. That model is changing. The single biggest selling point for many, the included gratuities, is gone. Gratuities are now a separate line item, costing $20 per person per day if prepaid, or $22 if paid on board. For a 7-night cruise, that's an extra $140 to $150 per person. The beloved no tipping, no surprises experience that defined Virgin simplicity is officially over. But that's not the only shift. Starting October 7th, 2025, Virgin is introducing a brand new fare structure called Voyage Fare Choices. Instead of one simple, inclusive price, you'll now choose between 3 tiers: base, essential, and premium. The base fare remains the most affordable but comes with limited flexibility and fewer booking perks. Essential adds faster Wi-Fi, earlier dining reservation access, and slightly more flexible cancellation terms. Premium includes premium Wi-Fi, priority reservations, additional onboard credit, and the most flexibility overall. Virgin says this change makes pricing more transparent, but for many loyal sailors, it makes what was once a beautifully simple product feel more complicated and no different from any other cruise line. Switching gears to Princess Cruises, the change here might seem positive on the surface. They're lowering cruise fares. However, there's a significant catch. Princess has made non-refundable deposits the default booking option. Refundable deposits are still available, but they now come at a higher fare. The good news? The non-refundable fares usually offer both a lower overall price and a smaller deposit amount. While this isn't new to the industry, Royal Caribbean and Celebrity have been doing it for years, it's a major shift for Princess, which long prided itself on flexible booking policies. Travel agents say this move could reduce placeholder bookings and free up cabins for cruisers ready to commit. But for the average traveler, it means you'll need to be more certain of your plans before putting money down. The all-inclusive, flexible feel of cruising is quietly giving way to a more segmented, fine print-driven model. The Great Loyalty Reshuffle. Now that you've seen how cruise costs and fees are changing, there's another major shift coming in 2026 that affects frequent cruisers in a very different way: cruise loyalty programs. This is a huge deal because it directly impacts how you earn perks and status, and depending on your preferred cruise line, your reaction may be very different. First, the good news. This is a recent announcement from the Royal Caribbean Group, and it's one that has cruisers genuinely excited. They're launching a new system called Points Choice. Here's how it works. Starting in early 2026, you'll be able to sail with any of their brands. That's Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, or Silversea, and choose which loyalty program you want to earn points in. If you're a Diamond member with Royal and decide to take a Celebrity cruise, you can still earn points toward your Royal Caribbean status. And the reverse is true if you usually sail Celebrity but try Royal. This is a level of flexibility we've never seen before, and truly makes their loyalty programs feel connected. Royal had made small loyalty tweaks in recent years, but never anything this integrated. Just note that Points Choice only applies to cruises booked after the launch date, so older sailings won't count. Still, it's a smart move that rewards variety without punishing brand hoppers. Now let's switch gears to a change that's far more controversial. Carnival Cruise Line is replacing its long-running VIFP program with something called Carnival Rewards, launching September 1st, 2026. The big shift: instead of earning status based on cruise nights, it'll now depend on how much you spend, your fare plus onboard purchases, and eligible credit card spending. Many are calling it a pay-to-play model. You'll earn stars toward your tier status and separate points you can redeem for onboard credit and discounts. Some cruisers like there are more ways to earn rewards beyond time at sea, but others say it makes loyalty harder for shorter or more budget-friendly trips. After a backlash, Carnival made several important concessions. Current Platinum and Diamond members will keep their status through the transition, and anyone who reaches Diamond by August 31st, 2026 will receive lifetime Diamond status. All VIFP members will carry their existing status into Carnival Rewards with a guaranteed minimum status level for the first 2 years of the new program. And here's the kicker that has people furious. Loyalty is no longer forever for most cruisers. Under the new system, status must be requalified periodically based on spending, rather than being locked in for life, though top-tier Diamond loyalty will remain permanent, and Platinum members will receive ongoing status-boosting star bonuses to help retain their tier. Still, many longtime cruisers feel betrayed and are threatening to leave Carnival altogether. And you have to wonder whether other cruise lines are quietly watching, ready to see if they too can tie loyalty more closely to how much you spend, not how long you sail. Paradise for a price. Let's talk about what might be the single most controversial topic in cruising right now: the massive investment in private islands and exclusive destinations. Cruise lines say this is all about leveling up the guest experience. And while there's some genuinely exciting news here, a few of these changes are stirring up serious debate among cruisers. First, the good news. Norwegian Cruise Line is making a huge investment in Great Stirrup Cay, and it's shaping up to be one of the biggest upgrades in their history. In the summer of 2026, they'll open a 6-acre water park with 19 water slides, a lazy river, and brand new dining and bar areas. They're also building a new pier and dock, expected to be ready before the end of 2025. A welcome change for anyone tired of tendering back and forth to shore. That alone will make getting on and off the island so much faster and easier. But as always, there's a catch. As we mentioned earlier, starting March 1st, 2026, that free at sea package won't work here. So while you're enjoying those new slides, you'll be paying for drinks, either out of pocket or by buying that new island-specific package. Now, let's talk about Royal Caribbean's new Royal Beach Clubs. It's important to be clear, these are not free private islands like Perfect Day at Coco Cay. These are paid, premium day experiences, more like upscale excursions. The first will be the Royal Beach Club Paradise Island in Nassau, Bahamas, opening in 2026. If you've been to Nassau recently, you've probably seen the construction across the harbor. It's hard to miss. Guests will need to purchase a day pass, expected to cost around $170 per person for an all-inclusive package with food and drinks. Then, in the summer of 2026, comes the Royal Beach Club Santorini in Greece. Day passes are already showing up online for about $280 per adult, though frequent sales bring that closer to $200. Children are welcome, and there's a lower price for them as well. Finally, in late 2026, we'll see the Royal Beach Club Mexico debut along the West Coast. These destinations will undoubtedly be stunning, but the criticism is loud and clear. Many cruisers say that after paying thousands for a cruise, they won't spend another $170 to $300 per person for what they call a fake beach club. They cruise to experience authentic culture and history, not a manufactured resort vibe. So, what do you think? Are these premium destinations the future of cruising, or just another expensive detour from what makes travel special? This is a divisive one, and I'm curious. Do you think this is a good direction for the industry? Green rules, higher costs. And if you thought that was it, think again. There is another wave of significant changes coming in 2026 that you might not see when you first book your cruise, but you will definitely feel them in your wallet. We are talking about new environmental regulations and the hidden costs they bring. Starting in January 2026, new environmental regulations are kicking in across Europe and other regions. The European Union is expanding its emission control zones, which means ships will have to switch to cleaner, more expensive low-sulfur fuels, or even alternative fuels like LNG. Now, while this is great news for the planet, the reality is that it is very expensive for cruise lines to operate under these new rules. Lines like MSC, Royal Caribbean, and Carnival are investing millions into greener technology. But guess who is going to help pay for it? Yes, us. We should all be prepared to see more so-called fuel surcharges or new environmental fees quietly added into the taxes and fees section of your cruise fare. This is a hidden cost that is becoming increasingly common. It is not just about fuel either. Ports themselves are tightening their rules. Starting in 2026, several popular destinations, including Venice, Santorini, Dubrovnik, and parts of Alaska, will be implementing strict daily limits on how many cruise passengers can visit. In some cases, like Cannes, France, megaships carrying over 5,000 passengers will be banned entirely. What does this mean for you? Well, some of your favorite itineraries might change. Cruise lines are already rerouting ships and replacing iconic ports with less popular alternatives. So while these environmental upgrades and port restrictions sound like progress on paper, for us cruisers, they are translating into hidden costs and fewer destination choices. You might end up paying more for an itinerary that does not even include the port you originally wanted to see. It's a complex issue, and it really makes you think. Would you be willing to pay a bit more for a greener cruise, or do you feel the cruise lines should be absorbing more of these costs themselves? So, 2026 is bringing big changes to cruising, some good, some costly. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 2026 changes are you most excited about, and which one has you the most concerned? Let me know in the comments. If this video was helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more straight-talking cruise tips. Thanks for watching, and feel free to check out another video right here.